What's going on, guys? PXCam20 back in with a brand new video. We are here back at Dragon Trails for another race of Daily Race C, but we decided to switch things up a little bit here as we are now racing in the European lobbies after the horrendous sights that we had back in the American lobbies. So after that, I decided let me just go to Europe, see if we can get a little bit cleaner of races. But for my surprise, it was kind of the same that happened here around this track. But I'll show you more of it when we go into it. All I know is that we did have some good racing, but we ended up getting taken out by one particular driver. And you guys will see that towards the end of the race. So before we jump into it, if you guys really enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video as it really helps out the channel when you guys do so. Anyways, that is enough promoting myself. Let's jump straight into this race. So as we now jump into the race, we again are starting in 14th place as we're going to be starting in the dangerous part of the track. Starting in midfield, can we get around these guys cleanly and hopefully avoid all the mistakes that people are going to be doing and all the craziness going to be going on in the chicane of death. So getting our 3, 2, 1, away we go. Starting back in 14th place as we are right behind the Audi TT. Immediately, we're going to try to get into the slipstream of the car right ahead of us since we are heading down this long straight heading to the first chicane and try to get away from the Honda NSX right behind us. But in doing so, heading to the first chicane, you can see the Honda NSX is getting closer to us. But we're able to defend our position as the Belgian gets a little bit of a squirrely moment right there. I think he got tagged from the Audi TT. So the Audi TT gets a 1-second penalty. That's going to help us here because once we go into the penalty zone, we should be able to make the easy overtake on him and promote ourselves into 13th place. As we are now going to head into the penalty zone now, and it looks like we are, yes, going to be able to get that 13th place. So already one position here in just one lap, off to a great start for us, since you do want to try to make at least one position up on the first lap and just kind of just work your way here. So into the final corner, the Jaguar gets a really bad entrance into it. I think he missed his braking point, and you can see the repercussions right there as he loses 2 positions away from the Audi TT and the Lamborghini in 9th place. But heading down the straight, he gets a really great slipstream onto the Belgian. He's going to make it 3 wide heading to the first corner, pushes his way into the inside right there, and he's going to try to make the overtake on the outside of the Belgian as we are going to get a look onto the outside of the Lamborghini. Side by side with the Lamborghini as we head out of the first chicane. He gets a better exit than us, so we decide to just shift it right behind him, get into the slipstream, and just decide to wait for another lap to make the overtake. So still on lap number 2, heading down the straight, going into the right corner. We're going to stay again right in the slipstream since this is probably one of the best places to make an overtake, but we get a little bit of a pressure right behind us, and it's the Audi TT that had to serve his 1-second penalty. He's able to make the easy overtake on us since we did miss our braking point and just go a little bit wide into that right-hander. We fall right behind him and we go single file into the chicane of death. So one car does get hit onto the outside, and it's the Belgian that actually gets taken out and demolished by the chicane of death. And in doing so, the Lamborghini, I think, had to avoid him. Got a little bit scared and probably made a little bit of contact with the wall. And you can see the results right there as we were able to just get an easy overtake on him. So 2 positions in the span of basically 1 straight and 1 corner. And we are now up into 11th place. Can we hold off this this good, excellent progress that we're having here and try to catch up to these guys right ahead of us and make some overtakes? So the strategy for this race, we were deciding to just run the hards all the way to the end of the race since it worked for us earlier this week in the American lobby. So I thought that it would work again on this one since we did have a couple of races before this one, and it looked like a lot of people were doing the hard strategy. So with the hard strategy on this race, you are given 2 compounds, which is the mediums and the hards. And if you do run the mediums, the requirements are the hard compound tires, so you have to switch them off. But since we are going to be starting basically on the required tires, we should be able to just make it throughout the entire race without having to come into the pits, since it does take about 12 to 13 seconds to go into the pits. So hopefully we can save enough time here and just save our tires, and we should be able to hold off our positions and just make our way through this field as we now head once again to chicane of death. But going to chicane of death right there, you can see that the Jaguar just miscalculates his corner, hits the wall, and we get a little bit freaked out because of that. So I had to let go of the throttle, and in doing so, we invite the Lamborghini. So basically, a reverse Uno card that the Lamborghini pulled on us, since he was able to just do the exact same thing that we did to him. And we are now demoted back into 11th place, since we did have the 10th place for just a small amount of time after that Jaguar just got killed by the chicane of death. But on the straight here, we get onto the slipstream, head onto the inside since we get a great run on the Lamborghini. Side by side as we head into turn number 1, leading us into turn number 2. We're staying on the outside, brake as late as we can, and the Lamborghini gives us the position here, but he is going to get a better exit than us since we did go really deep into the corner. And you can see right here the Lamborghini is now all of our rear bumper. He's trying to force us onto the to defend our lines here, and we're able to do so as we're braking as late as we can. Once again, missed a little bit of our apex, but we're able to hold off the Lamborghini just for another corner. But on the exit, Lamborghini gets a better exit than us now as he's on the right-hand side. Make a little bit of contact with him. He backs out of there. We're able to hold off our 10th place position for another set of corners, but again, all right behind us, so it's getting a little bit feisty here. He's going to get a really great run, especially on the slipstream down the straight. This is a really good overtaking zone. Once again, we're going to shift all the way to the right-hand side, defend our position as best as we can, brake as late as we can, but the Lamborghini, I think, did outbrake us. And you can see he's got a better exit because of the outside line onto the chicane death. Make a little bit of contact with him once again. It's the second time we made contact with him, but we fall right behind him because you do not want to go side by side into the chicane of death. I thought it was about the long-term progress of this race, and we're just going to fall right behind him. Stay in the slipstream and see if he can propel us forward to catch up to these guys right ahead of us. So on lap number 6 here, heading into the final corner, you can see that we were able to gain a lot of time on the Italian, as now the Lamborghini is forcing its way around the Italian. And we're going to go side by side here as we cross the start-finish line, lead us into lap number 7. Staying in the slipstream of the Italian, I'm hoping that he can pull us forward a little because we are getting pressure from the Brit right behind us. And we're defending our position here as the Lamborghini tries to make him move on to the inside. They make a little bit of contact going to chicane, and he forces the Italian to the right-hand side. We get a great exit here. We get tapped from behind, and that's actually going to propel us forward to try to catch up or try to make the overtake on the 9th place driver. Staying on the inside here, we complete the overtake since 9th place does back out, and we are now promoted right behind the Lamborghini in 9th, as a couple cars right behind us are starting to fight with each other. So on the replay here, this is what actually led us into getting the overtake, since the Lexus made a little bit of contact with our rear bumper. He actually pushed us up forward, and we were able to just get a better run from the Volkswagen, keep it onto the inside, and the Volkswagen decided to think twice about staying on the outside, since it's very easy to get very understeery there, go into the gravel, and that was able to propel us now into a 9th place position. So staying right behind the Lamborghini, I'm hoping at this point that his tires are going to start running out, since the Lamborghinis are known for having really bad tire wear. But unfortunately for us, on lap number 8, he was able to hold it together, and he actually pulled away from us. So not looking good on our end, but fortunately there is a gaggle of cars right ahead of the Lamborghini that are fighting very, very hard for that 4th place position. And you can see that the Swissman actually has a 4-second penalty. So he's going to have to serve his penalty, but not sure if we're going to be close enough to capitalize on that penalty mistake that he had. But one thing I am hoping for is that these guys race really, really hard, and in doing so, one of them takes each other out into chicane of death, or they just fight really hard where we're able to just catch up to them easily because of the time that they're losing. And kind of worked out here as we head into the final corner to see how much time we gained on this pack right ahead of us and on the Viper as we now head down the straight here. Heading down the straight, the Viper gets a really great run right behind us, and he's now on our right-hand side, as we got to take a defensive line with him, make a little bit of contact, and actually assess this car a little bit as we try to make a cutback. But the Viper in 8th place position gets a really great exit compared to us, and we got to let him keep the position now as we're starting to get pressure from the Brit in 10th place. Heading to the right-hander, the Lexus looks like he's going to be able to get a great exit, and he's able to do so. So again, we just fall right behind him, stay single file because you don't want to go double file into the S's, and just trying to stay patient as much as we can before the final lap, before we start making our attack here. So onto the S's, they're going 3 wide here as a couple of Vipers are making contact with each other. That's not going to work out as the Black Viper goes very wide, clips the curbing, spins out, and he loses basically that position and a lot of other positions here as we go into the replay. Viper tries to make an aggressive move onto the inside, makes contact with the White Viper, White Viper said he wasn't gonna have it, forces the Black Viper out wide. He clips the rumble strip, and if you clip that rumble strip in a really bad position, you end up spinning out. And that was the end of the day for the Black Viper, since he did quit out of that race. So one free position for us. The Brit in 7th place on the White Viper does have a 4-second penalty because of that incident, and hopefully we can stay close enough to him so that we can overtake him on the penalty zone once we get into there. Going to chicane of death once again. These guys are fighting very, very hard, and luckily they were fighting so hard that they actually all kind of went really bad on the exit of the chicane of death, and you can see how much time we're gaining on them now. Trying to make them onto the inside, we switch off to the left-hand side, immediately make contact with the Lexus, and that actually benefited him. As you can see, he was able to get a really great run on the outside and make the overtake on the Viper. So I'm gonna take credit for that overtake for the Lexus right there, because without that bump, probably wouldn't have been able to do it, and that disaster went into a positive, since we are now fighting our way here with the Viper on the inside. So going to chicane here, side by side with the Viper once again, just making contact with him. I don't know why, just going to that corner is very difficult to avoid making the contact, but he comes out better than us, and we still are in 9th place here, but we should be able to get an easy 8th place once we head into the penalty zone. Onto the hairpin, the White Viper attempts to make an overtake onto the inside of the Swiss. They make a little bit of contact, but nothing really happens there, since the Viper did have to serve his penalty, and we are now promoted into 8th place. But look up ahead, another car does have a penalty, so that should hopefully allow us to get another position as we go very, very narrow into the S's. We cut the corner, but we don't get a penalty, and unfortunately the Spaniard right ahead of us has to serve a half-a-second penalty for doing the exact same thing we did. So we get very, very lucky from the GT gods, and we don't have to serve a penalty now as we're heading to the final part of the racetrack. Going into the inside of the NSX, since he gives us a little bit of space, we go as far right as we can, make a little bit of contact with him. We're now going side by side here to make even more contact coming out of the corner. The NSX is now trying to force us down as he slams us into the wall, and we lose the 7th place battle there as we get demolished, slammed to the wall, hit from behind again on the chicane of death. You can see right here, we're just trying to gather it up together here after getting killed by the Swiss right ahead of us. Very unfortunate there as we jump into the replay right here. You can see he gave us enough space on the inside. We decided to take a little peek, and we just give him a little bit of a nudge right there, but all is fair. But with this, I'm not sure, man. The Swiss just decided to just take us out, and that is the result right here, as we are now demoted back into 8th place. And it looks like we're not going to be able to capitalize on those juicy penalties that those guys have right up ahead of us. So going into the final corner, we're too far back to take advantage of the penalty because of the Swiss in 7th place. And very unfortunate, we're just going to be finishing this race in 8th place after starting all the way back in 14th, racing our way all the way up into the 8th place position, fighting our way into 7th. But again, the Swiss just took us out there on the right-hand side. So not sure why he took us out right there. Honestly, it just felt like a lot of road rage with the Swiss guy. Because again, I made a move onto the inside. It was a very aggressive move. I have to say, it was an aggressive move, but he left the spot open. I had to take this the space right there. If you don't go for the gap, like Ethan said, then are you really a race car driver? But yeah, just made a little bit of contact with him, and he decided to retaliate by taking us out. So again, just finishing in 8th place. At least we're able to gain 6 places from where we started at, but just very sucks so much, because I know we could have at least gotten maybe a 6th, even a 5th, maybe even a 4th if we would have been able to get as close as we can to the 4th place driver, since all those guys had penalties. But the very funny thing is that the Swiss, even though he took us out, he actually didn't get a penalty at the end of the race. So I don't know where the penalty system was at on that, but again, just told the Swiss that that was very, very dirty from him, and yeah, hopefully just thinks twice about what he did on this race and doesn't do it in the future. But anyways, how are you guys doing on this race? If you guys are doing well or doing bad, comment that down below. And if you guys really enjoyed the video, again, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, since you guys made it all the way to the end of the video. And if you guys want to follow me on social media, you guys can follow me on Twitter or on Instagram, as I leave that in the descriptions down below as well. And I hope this video was very entertaining for you guys. If it was, I hope to see you guys on the next one. Peace out.